Okay, so Vihan is saying h2. The pawn is already on h2. You have to move it somewhere.
H4.
Okay, one move is h4. And what does Ishan think? What do you play?
A4.
a4. Okay, so now we'll discuss these two moves. First, Vihan, you tell me why do you think h4 is the good move to start the game? Why h4? Why not all these other pawn? Why did you choose h4 only? Any specific reason that you thought it's a good move?
A4.
Yeah, Ishan, can you tell me why a4 is a good move? What do you think? Like, why not e4? Why not d4? Why not c4? Why not b4? Why not all other moves? Why only a4? Can you think and tell me what is your reason? Okay, now I will play a move and then I will tell you my reason. Okay. For example, if I am playing white, I will play e4. This move I will start the game. Can you tell me what could be the possible reason behind this move? So the reason is the first principle in chess opening is controlling the center. So if you see in the chessboard, can you see these four square are in the center, right?
Yes, yes.
So in a chess game, first principle we always follow, we should try to control these four squares in the center, right? So now the question is, if we have to follow this first principle, how do we do that? Because if we play h4 or if we play a4, these a4 and h4 are too far away from the center, right? So in a chess game, we always start with either e pawn or d pawn. Okay. At least in the beginning, I want both of you to play e4 or d4 only, not h4 or g4 or f4. Okay.
Okay.
So next time, whenever you play, you start your game. First, in few games, you always start with e4. Because now the idea is, as the first principle says, controlling the center. Tell me on which square this pawn stands now.
Okay.
Tell me the square name on which this pawn is there now. Tell me the name of the square. This pawn. Where is this pawn on the chessboard?
E4. E4.
Okay, so this is the e4 pawn. Now we played e4. The main idea is from e4 you are controlling these two squares. Because as in the previous class we saw pawn captures diagonally, right?
Yes.
That is why e4 is a good move because this pawn is controlling these two squares, the f5 and d5. So I want you to write somewhere in your notebook first principle, first number, controlling the center. On the top of the page, you can write principle of chess opening. If you can't write any word, let me know. I will tell you what to write. Okay. So top of the page, the title of this will be Principle of Chess Opening, and then first number you can write, and then you will write Controlling the Center. And when you are done, you tell me, then we will go to the next principle. First principle is controlling the center. We want to control the center. That is why we are playing e4, because this e4 pawn controls the f5 and d5. So you only need to write one line, controlling the center.
C-I-C-A.
I will also share the video recording of this class. So if you miss anything, you can again watch it. So no problem. Okay, shall we move ahead now?
No, sir.
Let me know whenever you are finished. Don't worry, take your time. These principles are very, very important.
Done.
Okay, good. So can you repeat what is the first principle of chess opening?
Controlling the center.
Very good. And can you tell me what does it mean? How do we control the center? So it means that you will place central pawn in the center of the chessboard, and then you will have chance of controlling the nearby squares. Okay, let's move one or two move forward. Suppose now imagine if you are playing as black, by following the same principle, which move you will reply. So suppose I am playing as white, you are playing as black. I played e4. Now which move you will play as black? You have to think for the black. Tell me a move. It is black to move. Which move you will play? Any move that you think is good, you can tell me. Then we will discuss it. You have to think for black which move you will play. Yes, there is no right or wrong move. Just think of any move that comes to your mind. After white played e5, you have to think for black. Do you want me to tell how black should respond? You are able to hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I will tell you how generally in the opening we should respond, and then we will revise it again, okay?
Sir, C6.
C6. Okay, c6 is one move. And what does Ishan think apart from c6, or you also think c6?
C5.
E5. Okay. So now Vihan think c5 and Ishan think e5. So first Vihan, tell me why c6? Can you think of a reason? In chess, behind every move, you have to have a reason and objective. You can't move anything. That is, we are going to learn how to move with a purpose. So c6 is also a good move, but Ishan e5 is the better move. And now I will tell you why e5 is better move. Because in the beginning we saw that white is following a first principle of chess opening, which is controlling the center. So he played e5. So now this e4 square is controlling these two squares. So now if black is also attending our class, he will also follow the same principle. He will also play e5. He will block this pawn. He this black will try to block this pawn to move forward. Now you see white is controlling these two squares and black is controlling these two squares. So both are trying to control the center. Now you see all these four squares, these two pawns are controlling, which is related to our first principle, controlling the center. So this first thing you can remember whenever you start playing a game. If you are playing as white, you can start with e4, and if you are playing against white and if you are playing as black, you can reply e4 with e5. And same applies to, suppose if someone don't play e4, someone plays d5, d4, then you will just follow the same principle, controlling the center, because now this pawn is controlling these two squares. So which move you will do? You will play d5. This pawn is controlling these two squares and your pawn is also controlling these two squares. So both example shows that we have to control the center. And in chess, there is a saying that who controls the center controls the game. So controlling the center in a chessboard is very, very important. And we are going to learn today how controlling the center is going to help you in a long way. Okay, so let's see few more moves. After e4, Ishan said e5. Okay, now again think for white. After e4, black e5, which move you will play as white? Think for white, any move. Both of you have to think on your own and both of you have to tell me one move each. What do you think? How white should respond now? It is the second move only. White has too many options. He can play any of these pawns. He can play any of these pieces. Which move do you think white should play now? Do you want me to tell the move?
Yes.
The move is
D6. D6.
d6, but this pawn, it is white to move. How this pawn will reach to d6? It is not black to move. This pawn has to work like a Superman to reach on d6. So for white should continue this game by playing knight f3.
H4.
Right now, h4 is also not a good move because, like we will see, if you play knight f3, this knight is being developed, and in addition to being developed, this knight is also attacking the pawn on e5, which is undefended. So now there are 2-3 things which you have to remember and write also, which is a second principle which we will be discussing now. Second principle is development of the pieces. So second principle says, after controlling the center, we should continue our game with development of the pieces. So you need to write this in only one line, development of the pieces. If you can write, please write. Otherwise, when I share the recording, you can watch it again and try to remember. Okay, we'll continue. Now the question is, as the second principle says, if you don't understand anything, just let me know. Okay, I will also, I can also tell in Hindi or repeat again. But if you don't understand anything, just tell me. So now the second principle is development of the pieces.
Yes, sir.
Now the question is, if you want to develop this knight has three options. This knight can go to f3, this knight can go to h3, this knight can also go to e2. And now what I am saying is, knight f3 is the only good move. But why not e2 and why not h3? Knight f3 is
Yes.
the knight f3 is good because this knight from f3 controls more number of squares. Second, this knight is being developed towards the center. So now this knight is on f3. First, this knight is attacking pawn on e5. This knight is also controlling the g5 square. This knight is also controlling the d4 square. So just see how many square this knight is controlling. And now if you compare this move with other move, for example, knight h3. Now h3 is also follow the second principle that we should develop our pieces in the opening, but knight on the side of the board is a passive knight. It is not that active. For example, knight on h3 only controls these many squares. And it will take so many moves for this knight to come on this side of the board. That is why, in addition to second principle, we can say we should develop our pieces towards the center. So now we have discussed two principles. The first principle is we should move these central pawns to control the center. And the second principle is we should develop our pieces. And we should develop our pieces not anywhere, towards the center. These are the two principles we have learned. Okay. Now I want you to think for black. White played knight f3. White is attacking this pawn. How will you respond? You are playing as black, I am playing as white. I played knight f3. If both of you are playing as black, which move you will choose? Whenever you choose any move, keep thinking about these principles.
E5. 5.
E5, you have already played e5. So there is a pawn on e5, there is pawn on e4, and I played knight f3. Now you have to think for black. I am attacking your pawn on e5. How will you save it? When your any piece is under attack, you should try to save it. Now your pawn on e5 is under attack. How will you save? Which move you will be? You have many options. And let me tell you your option and then you think. Your options
E5.
are e5, the pawn is already on e5. This need to be defended. Because this knight is attacking on this pawn. And now your options are, for example, you can play f6. From f6, this pawn will be defending this pawn. Second option is you can play d6. This pawn also will be defending this pawn. Third option is maybe you can play queen e7. Queen also will be defending this pawn. The last option is you can play knight c6. This knight also will be defending this pawn. Now you have 1, 2, 3, 4 options to defend this pawn. Which one you will choose? And I will tell you
H3.
about h3. h3 is this move, but you have to think for black side.
No. That was similar.
After this move, for example, if you play f6, defend this pawn, but it is not a good move. It is not a good move because first we should not. It is not a good move because we should not move our pawns too much in the opening, and especially the king side pawn. The king side means, so for example, king side means you have a king on this side. So this side is called king side. You have a queen on left side. This side is called queen side. These three pawns will be called king side pawns. And there is one more principle that you can remember. We should avoid moving these king side pawns too much in the opening part. Because what will happen if you move this pawn forward too much, then your king side will be weak and your opponent can attack. We'll keep discussing these ideas, but I am just sharing them in the beginning. Okay, so now this d6 also defend this pawn, but this is also not good move because you are defending your pawn, but you are not following the second principle. Can you tell me what is the second principle? Second principle is we should develop our pieces, right? And white has already followed this principle by developing his knight. So what you should do as black is you should also develop your pieces. You can play knight c6. Now you see this knight was attacking this pawn. Now this knight came into the center and defending this pawn. This is how you should respond. These two moves, we will remember all the moves, but on first initial days, I want you to play e4, and then whenever your opponent plays any pawn, I want you to develop your knight first. So this is one more thing you can remember. After controlling the center, develop your knight first. Not bishop, not queen, not king, not rook. After you control the center, always play your knight. Okay. And so there is a reason why we should play knight first. For example, as yesterday when we were solving those positions where we had to capture the stars, we saw that this knight can jump over the pieces, right? There are these three pawns, and this knight was in g1 and it jumped. So that is why in the opening, when there are too many pieces in the chessboard, it is always recommended to keep our knight somewhere in the central squares, because this knight will take so many moves to reach on other side of the board. Okay, so we will keep revising these idea. Let's just move forward and see few more moves. So after you develop this knight, after black played knight c6, now this pawn is defended, because let's see. Suppose if white is not careful and white plays knight capture on e5. This is a blunder. How will you punish white? If you are playing as black, what will you do?
Knight. Knight capture. Black knight capture.
Yes, so this knight capture on e5. This knight will capture this knight, and now you already capture a piece, and now this knight came into the center and controlling these many squares. That is why first two principle goes controlling the center and development of the pieces. Okay, good. So after this, white will not blunder, white will not capture this pawn. He will play something else. He will play, for example, he will play bishop b5. Can you tell me why he played bishop b5? Why not some other moves? This is related to our next principle. But first, you think why white only played this? Why bishop b5 only? Why not something else? What could be the possible reason? The reason is related to our next principle, which is the king safety.
पीछे पुश कर देंगे.
You already know about castling move, right? Where the king moves two squares and the rook comes on side of the king. So next principle is always try to put your king to the safety in the opening, because we know this king is most important piece. That is why it is also most vulnerable piece. So before doing any other moves, before attacking your opponent, we should take care of our king first. So always try to castle as early as possible in chess game. Okay. So now, before castling, as you saw, the condition of castling is there should not be any piece between rook and between king. Then only they will be able to castle, right? This you already know. That is why this bishop, we just move him out, and now you are ready to the castle. So next principle I want you to remember is always put your king to the safety. Okay, so now suppose if your opponent is not careful and if he plays some random moves, for example, he plays h6. Now what will you do as white?
Castling.
Yes, you can do the castling also, and because we just discussed the principle, now your king is very safe. You can see these three pawns are blocking your king. This knight is also will help you in defense of your king. Your king is far more safe than your opponent king who is still in the center. Okay, one more thing you can just get introduced for now. Apart from castling, there is one more move. For example, I will just show you. We will keep looking at that again. You can capture the knight also. Now the idea is, let me show you with the arrows. First you capture the knight. Now when you capture this knight, your opponent will try to capture it back. He will either capture with this pawn or with that pawn. Now, whatever he does, the main idea is this knight was defending this pawn. And when you remove this knight, there is no one to defend this. So you can win a pawn. For example, you capture the knight first, and now whatever black does, you simply play knight capture on e5. And now you are ready for the castle. So there are many things like this. We will keep learning them. I just wanted to show this. Okay, so after this, black plays this move, or he also try to follow the opening principle. He also played knight f6. Now, of course, you can simply castle, but in chess game, you always need to be careful of immediate threat. I want you to see the chessboard and tell me what is the immediate threat. Your opponent played knight f6. Can you think why he played knight f6? What could be the reason? And we have to think for our opponent also. Then only we will be able to respond better. He played knight.
That knight will capture white pawn.
Yes, very good. So this knight is threatening to capture this pawn. So this is the immediate threat. Now, before doing any other move from white, you should respond to this threat. How will you defend this white? Think and tell me.
Move d3.
Yes, you can play d3 also. It also serves the purpose that now this pawn is defended. But in a game, if this happens, I want you to play knight c3. Can you see why knight c3 is also good? Because from c3, this knight also defends this pawn. And in addition to defending this pawn, you are also developing one more piece. So whenever, this also one more thing you can remember in the opening, whenever your central pawns comes under attack, always try to defend them with your two knights. That is why we were discussing that it is always good to develop your knight first. Okay, so after this knight move, suppose he also develops one more piece. He plays bishop c5. Now what will you? Now it is white to move. Think for white.
Sir. Sir.
Yes, tell me.
Can I go to washroom?
Yeah, please go. So Ishan, you think on this position, black played bishop c5. What do you think what white should do? Think for white. Take your time. You are playing a game. Which move you will do? And there is no right or wrong move. Just think any move, then we will discuss it. Then we will try to learn which move is better and why.
E3.
E3. Let me see where is E3.
E3, sir.
Your pawn is already on E4. How it will come back?
Sir, D3.
D3. Okay. D3 is also a very good move. So you can play D3 also, but in the beginning I will recommend just castle.
Okay.
Because if you castle, it follow the opening principle. Now the king is more safe and we don't need to worry about anything. And now after that we can play D3. Okay, good. So And keep remembering this. Whenever the Vihan comes back, you have to tell him why castling is important and why we can wait for d3. So after this move, suppose if black is also listening us and he also castles. Now what will you do? Think again for white. His king is also safe now. You have to keep trying to improve your pieces, develop them bit by bit. So think, if you are playing from white side, which move you will play?
E4.
You have a pawn on e4 already.
Till d4.
d4. Okay. So let's think. And I want you to imagine this. If you play d4, what will you do if this pawn captures your pawn?
The knight.
So you want to capture this black pawn with your knight, right?
Yes.
After knight captures, again think, if this bishop capture your knight, don't you think you are losing a piece? For example, let me show you. You are proposing d4, right?
Yes.
Now the question is, if this black pawn captures, now this pawn is also attacking your knight. Either you move this knight somewhere or you capture this pawn. So suppose this knight captures, as you said. But now he can capture with his bishop. Okay, now think for a moment. Can you capture this bishop? Okay, what about this move? This queen capture on d4. Can you capture this bishop with your queen right
No.
now? Why not?
The knight.
Yes, there is a knight on c6. If you capture with your queen, this knight will jump and capture your queen. Okay, so that is why d4 is not a good move, because you are losing your knight. Okay, so now since the Vihan has come back, we will just revise what we were discussing. So now this was the position when the Vihan went, and now we are thinking about what white should do. And now Vihan, you think for a moment, tell me, it is white to move, which move you will do?
Your castle.
It is you thinking or Ishant told you? Yeah, so right now castling is a good move for the beginning. You will just castle. And now we were discussing, suppose if black also copies you, he also castles. Now we are thinking on this position, how white should continue. Both kings are safe. And Isan was saying maybe we can play d4, but after d4 we saw we may lose a piece because this pawn will capture. Now this knight is under attack. So if you capture with this knight, then this bishop will capture. So d4 may not be a good move. What do you think, how white should continue? Okay, do you remember the principle we already discussed, development of the pieces? So development of the pieces means we should develop our piece, right? And now if you see the chessboard, tell me name of all those pieces which are currently developed. Can you see all those pieces for white?
Yes.
You tell me their names in square.
Knight.
Yeah,
Bishop.
where is? You tell me the
Queen.
square name. Square name also. Where is that knight?
C1, C3, knight,
Okay, there is a knight developed on c3. Then
E1,
there is no piece on e1. Or do you see any piece? Because I don't see.
D1, queen,
Okay, so the development of the pieces means you develop them towards the center. This queen was on d1 only since the beginning of the game. So it means this queen is still undeveloped. But this knight is also developed like this knight. And this bishop is also developed. Because they were not on their initial squares, they are in the center. That is why these three pieces are developed. Now the question is how to develop other pieces. For example, this bishop is undeveloped, right? It is still on its initial square sleeping on c1.
yes,
So we should not let our piece sleep. We should wake them up and ask them to come into the center. So now your objective and target is you want to develop this c1 bishop. How you can do that? You are playing as white, everything is going nicely. The next issue you have to resolve is bishop on c1 is undeveloped. He is sleeping. How will you wake him up? What will you do?
move pawn B2,
Yeah, so there is a pawn on b2. What will you do with it?
2 step,
Two step. You mean b4?
yes, yes.
Okay, let's calculate. If you play b4, what will you do if this bishop simply captures your pawn? Like if you play b4, this black will say thank you so much. He will simply capture your pawn. So we should not lose our pawn like this. They seems very small, but in the end, like we saw, they can become a queen also. So never lose a pawn out of free. So b4 loses a pawn. Your target is this. This idea was correct that you want to move this pawn, then maybe play this bishop b2. But the but the better idea will be d3. Whenever you want to develop this bishop, always play d3. After d3, do you see now this diagonal is open for your bishop. And this pawn chain is also very strong. Can you see this? This looks beautiful, right? These pawns are connected with each other. Okay. So now suppose if black is also following the same principle, he also play d6. He is also ready to develop his bishop. Now what will you do? White, what were we thinking in the previous move? We wanted to develop this c1 bishop. Now this diagonal is open. Where will you develop it? For example, your target is you want to develop this bishop. You can develop it to d2. You can develop it to e3, f4, e5, h6. Which square you will choose?
3 step,
Tell me where will you develop your bishop?
G6, G6,
G6. G6 is this square. It can only come to g5.
E5.
Okay, bishop g5. Okay, let's see about this move. But before bishop g5, why not bishop h6, for example? What is the problem in bishop h6?
Pawn. Black pawn.
This pawn will capture, right?
Yes.
Okay, so bishop h6 is not good. What about bishop f4, for example? What is the problem in bishop f4?
Pawn.
Yes, bishop on f4. This pawn is there. It will capture your bishop, right? So these two squares are attacked by your enemy pieces. So never move your bishop on these two squares in the beginning. Always remember this. Whenever there is a pawn on diagonal, never move any piece there because those pawn will capture. Now, the next thing is you have these three squares, which is comparatively safe. And all of these three moves are good. Now you have to think and tell me, why not bishop c2, why not e3, and why only g5? These two squares we already saw, these are not good. Why g5, why not these two squares? There also it is safe because on e3, even if this bishop captures, you have this pawn to capture it back. So it is still safe. Can you think why bishop g5 is good move? This is a good move, but you have to think why. Because if you don't know why, you will not remember it.
Can capture knight. Black knight.
Okay, but if you capture this knight straight away, this pawn is there or this queen is also there, what will you gain? This, is, this knight is not free. It is well defended by the black. You can capture it, but then you will lose your bishop also. So the idea is this bishop g5 is a perfect move because you are putting pressure on this knight. Sometimes in a chess game, it is not necessary you have to capture a piece. You can increase the pressure on some piece. So this bishop, by coming on g5, it is increasing the pressure on this knight. And there is one more advantage of this bishop g5. The advantage is it is on the same diagonal as the black's queen. Now, for example, we will see how to make best use of that advantage. Suppose if your opponent is just starting to play chess and he don't know like many moves, so he's playing any move. For example, he think that you will capture his knight, he will play knight g4. He try to defend his knight. Take for white. What will you do if you are playing as white?
Capture queen.
Yes, very good. Because now there is no knight, you can simply capture the queen. When you capture the queen, black is already lost. It will be easier for you to checkmate him without it. So that is why bishop g5 is a perfect move because you are pinning this knight. Okay, good. So now think for one more move. After this bishop g5, if your opponent also plays bishop g4, what will you do? He is also attending this class and he is following everything that we are learning. So he is also played bishop g4. What will you play as white? You have to think for white. The bishop h3 you are saying?
Move on.
You are saying h3.
Yes.
Okay, so can you tell me what is the idea behind h3? Why h3?
Pressure on bishop.
Yes, okay. So after h3, you are attacking this bishop. For example, he is also learning chess nicely. He saw this and he just move one step back. Now, how will you continue? You are playing as white. How will you continue?
G4.
g4 is also a good move. Because if you play g4, this bishop can go one step back. Now, what will you do?
Knight H4.
Knight h4. So you are continuing your attack on the king side. Okay, knight h4 is also a good move. So this all moves are good. Now I will tell you one move that I want you to play in the game. The move is after this bishop comes on g4. For now, no need to kick this bishop up. What you can do is you can play knight d5. Can you think why this knight d5 is also a good move? What could be the reason I am saying play this? The reason is, as we saw, this bishop is pressurizing this knight, and this knight is not able to move because then this bishop will capture the queen. So what you are doing with this knight move is you are increasing the pressure on this knight, because now you have two pieces who is attacking this knight, and this knight will be paralyzed on this square only. It will be not able to move, and in some cases you may even capture this. Those situations we will see later, but the main thing here is to learn is that whenever you are starting to pressurize a piece, keep increasing that pressure. Don't leave there. If you are attacking this knight, keep attacking. Because when you keep attacking a piece, there are high chances your opponent will do mistake. Okay, so these were few important things from today class, which are principle of chess opening. I will just revise all of them once, and I want you to remember them and use them in your games, and we will discuss them again. So I am going to revise what?
Revise का करे.
All these principles of chess opening that we have discussed today. And revising means no. When you play a game, just try to keep them in your mind. No need to read them. Okay, I will just revise them once and then I will tell you how you can make use of them.
इसका करे. Sir practice का करे.
That I will tell you after revision. Okay. So, like the first principle is you have to control the center. You control the center by playing this d4 or e5 moves. I want you to start with e4 for some time. After that, second principle I want you to remember is development of the pieces. In development of the pieces, I want you to develop your knight. And I want you to develop your knight towards the center, not on the side of the board. The third principle is always try to put your king to the safety. So try to develop your knight, then this bishop, and then do the castling. Your king will be safe. And then all those small things that develop these pieces also. If you want to develop c1 bishop, it is always good idea to move this d3 and then develop your bishop on g5. But always be careful, this pawn should not be on h6, otherwise this pawn will catch. And bishop on g5, as we saw, is very good because this will keep pressurizing this knight and is also controlling this same diagonal where you have the queen. Okay, so can I talk to your dad or mom if they are nearby? I want to tell them how to start playing so that we will have your games to analyze.
Hi,
Hi, ma'am. Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, so there is one thing, for example, like we are learning different concepts, but it is very important for like all of us to see if they can apply them in real games. So
Yeah.
and since they now it will be difficult for them to write down moves, like if they play against each other or against any friend or their father, it will be difficult for them to write moves. So there is one option which if they can do, which is playing online game, at least one or two, like whenever they get
Okay.
time.
Okay.
And there are some very good websites, like I can tell, which are like safe for children also, without any advertisement and all those things.
Okay.
And on that website they have a choice, like either they can play against each other, that is also good, or they can play against any player online. That I will
Oh,
I can teach how to do that. And so the main idea is when they play game online, that game will be saved in their account.
okay.
And whenever we will have next class, in each class or maybe in between class, we will analyze those games that they have played.
Okay.
So by having their games handy, then I'll be able to download them and discuss each move. Was this good, or what was the idea, and all those things.
Okay. So can you share the link on WhatsApp so that I'll ask them to play one game each?
Yes, that I will share. And do you want me to show that website also, how to start, or you will figure it out?
Uh, I'll just see on my own if you want to give me a demo or something. Is it something complicated?
No, it's very simple. You just have to sign up, create an account,
So
and just
yeah, okay. We need to create an account. So we'll create an account for both of them and we'll do it.
yeah, that will be
And
better. Yes.
okay. So do we need to take any subscription for that?
No, that is the website that I will share is free of cost. It is like non-profit, so it is only for the serious test players. So no subscription, no money, no advertisement, nothing.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And if you face any problem in playing games online, just let me know. I will tell you over the WhatsApp. Okay, then